Well folks, it's that time of the week again. The Ace family have got themselves in another lawsuit. Somehow. Like, I don't know how many Ace family lawsuits we've covered by this point, but it's a fucking lot. Now, I do realise I may be a couple days late in uploading this video about the lawsuit, but I do have a good excuse. You see, as I'm recording this video right now, it is currently my 24th birthday, even though I look about 16, but I have a lot of celebrating to do. So, I will get to uploading this when I can, okay? Pray for my hangovers. But yeah, we're gonna talk about the lawsuit, but before we get into that, if you haven't already subscribed, please do it! It's my birthday after all, and if you're not gonna subscribe now, then when the fuck are you gonna do it? But yeah, another lawsuit with Austin Mcbroom specifically from the Ace family, and it's a lot to do with his Social Gloves platform, which, for some reason, he is still saying he wants to do another one, even though he's been sued for it many times. So if you don't know, and you may have been living under a rock, Social Gloves was a boxing event that Austin Mcbroom held where he lied about pretty much everything. He lied about how much he was going to pay people, he lied to the investors about who would be involved, lied to investors about the numbers it was going to have, and we've seen many people sue him because of this, and the newest person that has sued him is actually Faze Jarvis. Now this is interesting because the last lawsuit we looked at for Austin Mcbroom, the person who, I believe his name was Foxman, he was suing Austin Mcbroom because he was an investor who basically didn't get his money back that he was guaranteed, but he also showed how much a lot of these people earned for the boxing event, and he did mention Jarvis, and he said that Jarvis only got paid 20% of what he was promised. So you can see why Jarvis is now suing Austin Mcbroom for $1 million. Another million to add to the millions that Austin has already been sued for. And it does beg the question before we even get any further. How much money does the Ace family even have left at this point? Every lawsuit we have covered, you would believe that Austin would probably lose, and they're always for millions upon millions, and I know Austin is rich, but the bloke definitely spends it as well. He has multiple supercars, he's lived in some of the fanciest houses in LA, he's always wearing designer, and now he's getting sued for millions. Something tells me, even though he may not be like completely skint, he has a lot less money than what he had a few years ago. But yeah, we can see what he's being sued for here, okay? So he's being sued for breach of contract, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, fraud, negligent misrepresentation, intentional interference with contractual relations, and civil conspiracy. And one thing that kind of blew my mind when I started reading this is the fact that Jarvis and his lawyer do not hold back in the single slightest. They don't only talk about the Social Gloves platform and like what's happened there, they also go into detail about a lot of things that Austin Mcbroom has been criticised / sued for in the past. Austin Mcbroom and his family gained notoriety in 2017 on YouTube, vlogging their day-to-day lives on their own Ace family channel. As scandals involving Mcbroom surfaced, and there were many, allegations of cheating and rape, sexist and racist tweets, a stage burglary, fraudulent charity events, and a sham fan club with false promises of merchandise. Like, fucking hell, they definitely didn't hold back. Now, obviously, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't really know what I'm talking about when it comes to this type of stuff, but if anyone does know, will the fact that they've put, like, he has allegations of rape, even though, obviously, Austin Mcbroom isn't a convicted rapist, will that, like, have some repercussions, like, for either party? Like, if he's not convicted, could Jarvis then be done for, like, defamation, or will they then look into this? Like, how does that work? Someone please tell me. As the number of followers grew, the Mcbroom financial fortune swelled, sustaining, for now, their insatiable appetite for fuck me, there's a lot of big words. Their insatiable appetite for extravagance. A $10 million house, an orange Lamborghini, and a Rolls Royce. Like, this is what I'm talking about. A $10 million house, a Lamborghini, and a Rolls Royce is just the bare minimum of what Austin Mcbroom has spent money on. Surely, after all of this, and the fact that they've started moving in some smaller houses now, means that they're not doing anywhere near as good as they were financially just a couple of years ago. Capitalising on the introduction of boxing exhibitions involving social media celebrities first introduced 3 years ago, Mcbroom conceived of Social Gloves, Battle of the Platforms. However, Social Gloves event was designed to drive more followers to the nascent Social Gloves empire. This event would pit YouTubers against TikTokers. The key for Mcbroom was entice event participants with large number of online followers. In turn, these followers would be attracted to an event which gave top billing to Austin Mcbroom. In other words, Austin Mcbroom sought to grow his empire on the shoulders of other internet social media personalities. Now, I mean, that's definitely true. He used the fact that these social media influencers had X amount of millions of followers to try and start this business. He went about it the complete wrong way and scammed people in the process, just for selfish reasons. First, to accomplish this scheme, McBroom needed credibility. McBroom engaged Paul Caesars as the executive producer, a veteran in the entertainment world specializing in new media, digital or social platforms. McBroom supplemented his team with 2 entertainment law firms to assist with organizing the event and negotiating the deals with the talent. But this is where we do get interesting, because they go on to accuse Austin Mcbroom of lying about his ownership of the company, and almost made it seem like he was going to these social media influencers and being like, oh, I know a guy who's like running an event. Do you want to be on it? I'm going to be on it too. It'll be a great fun. But obviously the whole time, he had complete ownership. And this is actually interesting because I remember when Social Gloves was kind of first announced, no one was really saying it was Austin Mcbroom's event. Up until maybe like the press conference when a few people kind of spitted it out. Like, no one knew at first. As the social media world can be very competitive, Mcbroom's ability to attract other social media stars would be contingent on his hiding his ownership of this event from the other social media influencers whose involvement Mcbroom pursued. The ruse began with Mcbroom incorporating a single-purpose limited liability company, Simply Greatness Productions, who is someone that we've seen pop up a lot in these lawsuits. When the other social media stars began to ask questions of SGP, Austin Mcbroom and the SGP attorneys had a secondary scheme which they employed. Alan Mcbroom and Sivan, I'm assuming that's pronounced, suggested that ownership of the LLC will be transferred to Caesars, whatever it is, on the day of a significant contract signing. Alan Mcbroom further suggested that following the execution of the agreement, ownership would be then returned to Austin Mcbroom. So you can see there's some dodgy stuff going on here, right? They're trying to play it off as if Austin Mcbroom doesn't have ownership. Then when he's challenged, they're talking about like moving the ownership to someone else, well, the ownership of the LLC. They're trying to be really sketchy about it. And I mean, it's Austin Mcbroom, so it's not really a surprise, is it? And then this is where we get into more sketchiness, specifically the marketing of the event. In other versions of his marketing deck, Mcbroom showed Kevin Hart as the host for Social Gloves, despite Mcbroom never approaching Hart. Now, we already kind of knew this because I made a video like months and months ago where we did actually get to see the marketing deck that he actually showed like the investors, and it did say Kevin Hart was going to be hosting it. And as they're saying here, they didn't even contact him. He just said that so the investors would give him money. It reminds me so much of like the Firefest situation, because I've seen a few podcasts of that guy who's just kind of came out of jail talking about how he lied to investors, and it's the same type of lies that Mcbroom is saying. And by the way, that guy from the Firefest went to jail, so just throwing that out there. Mcbroom developed a dazzling mathematical formula, which isn't a sentence I thought I would ever read, based upon social media followers. The equation yielded. Why do I keep saying that weird? Wow. The equation fuck me. The equation had promises of a combined reach of 393 million followers and a projected gross revenue of Wait, what even number is that? Oh, that's a full stop. I thought that was a fucking comma. I was like, wait, is he saying that he's gonna make 500 billion? Okay, my bad. And projected gross revenue of $500 million, which I mean, I can tell you for free, that never happened. Mcbroom shopped the event to potential investors. Mcbroom landed James Harden and Little Baby. What the fuck? I didn't know that. I knew James Harden was kind of involved, but the fuck does Little Baby know about running boxing events? Mcbroom would use the same deck to entice prominent YouTubers and TikTokers. So he also showed this marketing deck showing that Kevin Hart's gonna host it, James Charles is gonna do the national anthem, and then was it like Justin Bieber was gonna perform or something along them lines? Clearly a bunch of lies, but this is how he manipulated people and lied to people to get them to be involved in the event. Like, genuinely, this is so fucking sketchy. In a span of a month, Mcbroom offered colossal payouts to the social media personalities for the talent's promises to enter the ring for 3 to 6 rounds. SGP agreed to pay the talent as much as $5 million. Now, that's obviously Bryce Hall, because he kept going on about how he's gonna make $5 million, and then I assume made absolutely nowhere near that. I mean, most people seem to get paid like 20% of their purse, right? So with that being said, you would imagine that Bryce maybe got like $1 million, but I just don't know where Austin's getting $1 million from, to be honest. In the case of plaintiff, Faze Jarvis, SGP offered him basically $1 million, and relatively small initial payments were paid prior to the event. With regard to plaintiff, he was paid $25,000 up front, so his whole purse is $1 million, and he's only given $25K up front, which, I mean, That's already a bit of a red flag, isn't it? They then go and talk about in this section how basically McBroom offered first priority to a bunch of people, saying that they are going to be the priority to get paid first. But obviously you can only have one first priority, and he offered it to multiple people, yet again, just lying to others. The 1 month spending spree in order to lock up the talent with exorbitant contracts caused McBroom's business manager, Mark Goodman, to say to McBroom, "You are spending like a drunken sailor." I mean, that's one way of putting it. I just don't understand the thought process, because surely if he was spending this much money, he must have genuinely thought that this event was going to get, I'm pretty sure they said, what, 2 million pay-per-view buys on like the marketing doc that we looked at a long time ago. It was going to get nowhere near that. Always, regardless. 2 million pay-per-view buys is like Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather numbers. Austin Mcbroom isn't going to get that. And if you remember, the event apparently did like 130,000, 150,000 pay-per-view buys, like literally nowhere near, so they lost out heavily. Oh yeah, actually, just I'm saying this as I read further on, they go on to talk about LiveXLive, who were the people who hosted the live stream and actually showed the stream for people and they could buy it from. And they even said that LiveXLive only agreed to it if they could help out with the marketing strategies. And it says, LiveXLive developed an extensive marketing plan for SGP with the goal of achieving 2.2 million pay-per-view buys. 2.2. And just put that in perspective, Conor McGregor, you know, the biggest star in the UFC ever, versus Khabib Nurmagomedov, who had this massive rivalry. Khabib was undefeated. It's probably the biggest fight in UFC history. In fact, it is if you just go on a pay-per-view buys. Did 2.4 million buys. 2.4. And McBroom genuinely reckoned he could get pretty much the exact same amount of pay-per-view buys. He's a fucking moron. And you know the reason why he probably did think he could get this amount of pay-per-view buys is because in the early times of like YouTube boxing, Jake Paul and all them people would lie about the pay-per-view buys. This is pretty common knowledge at this point. Especially when Jake was partnered with Triller, they are known for just lying. So when Jake would fight, they would say like, oh, it's the 1.5 million pay-per-view buys, even though that is absolutely nowhere near what it did. Now that he's with Showtime, a company that actually have a good reputation and can't lie, we now find out that Jake gets about 300,000 pay-per-view buys, okay? And Jake Paul's way bigger than Austin. But Austin was probably looking at them numbers being like, oh, we can do that. If that's Jake by himself, I get a bunch of YouTubers and TikTokers together, we'll double it. McBroom was warned by 2 experts that SGP's promotional strategy will not drive ticket purchases. Jackie Stone, LiveXLive's chief marketing officer, went on record with McBroom warning that his strategy will not generate no more than 200,000 pay-per-view sales. And I mean, they were right. McBroom pointed to all the impressions the event was generating. Yeah, some likes on TikTok. I'm sure that generates pay-per-view buys. Miss Stone admonished that impressions do not equal conversions, but McBroom already knew that. McBroom's goal was to elevate his number of followers, the element which brought him and his family wealth during the last 4 years. Interesting. So basically, Jarvis and his lawyer are trying to say that McBroom knew that this event was going to be a failure and it wasn't going to reach the pay-per-view buys that he was telling people it would, but he just wanted to gain more subscribers on YouTube and help out his Ace Family channel, which, I mean, could definitely be true. Oh yeah, and as we can see here further down in the lawsuit, they said that the pay-per-view buys was actually 136,000. That's like good, I guess, but with the money that they spent on the event, it's nowhere near enough. I mean, what was it, like $20, $25 to buy the pay-per-view? So it's maybe just under or around about $3 million. It's nowhere near enough to pay for everything that they had. Production, the event itself where it was hosted, the fighters, any other staff, like nowhere near enough. I mean, Bryce Hall was supposed to get $5 million just on his own, and they didn't even generate anywhere near that just of pay-per-view buys. Now all you're relying on is the fucking ticket sales in the arena. There wasn't even that many people there. McBroom then activated the final 2 components of his plan. First, McBroom deflected and blamed LiveXLive for lying about the numbers, which is fucking stupid. LiveXLive's accounting was audited by McBroom's consultant, FTI, and validated. Second, McBroom and SGP retained the legal services of the high-powered bankruptcy attorney, Richard... Oh god, right, I need to stop just reading names, because I'm really struggling today. In light of the apparent underperformance of the event, our firm has been retained to represent SGP in connection with either a workout of the claims of all its creditors, or if workout is not feasible, a likely bankruptcy filing. Obviously, that didn't go through, because he had more events, but yeah, he was willing to just go bankrupt and run, which is interesting, because an event here in the UK did a very similar thing to that a few years ago. It is believed that defendants had 5 boxing matches in Social Gloves 2, which included Austin McBroom's brother, Landon McBroom, and that the fighters / talent in Social Gloves 2 were paid. Oh, so the ones who fought at the second event were actually paid. I mean, we did see the numbers for that and they were very low. But how are you going to pay the fighters from the second event when you haven't even paid the fighters from the first? That makes 0 sense. case. Despite defendants not paying plaintiff $1 million, he is due for his participation in Social Gloves 1. Exactly. But yeah, that's pretty much everything you need to know from like the written part of the lawsuit. They've also attached like references from what they spoke about in the lawsuit. Like here we have one of the original marketing decks that they actually showed, showing what fighters were supposed to be involved and what other people were supposed to be involved and the numbers that they thought they were going to reach. We've got people like Grayson Dolan, Steve Will Do It, Noah Beck, Josh Richards, Tony Lopez and Andres Lopez, who I'm pretty sure are like some dodgy blokes. I'm gonna say a harsh word than that, but I need to be 100% sure first. Tanner Fox as well, like a bunch of people who didn't even fight in the event. They also used the fact that Addison Rae, Kevin McBroom, Hannah Stocking, Dixie D'Amelio, Charlie Jordan were all going to be there as a way that it was going to reach more numbers, as if anyone's going to watch a boxing event because Charlie Jordan's there. Projected pay-per-view streams, 10 million! Shut the fuck up. Now that's just taking the piss. Oh yeah, as we can see here as well, they said that Kevin Hart was going to be the host, James Charles was going to sing the national anthem. Like, this is actually like a comedy piece. They don't mean to be funny, but this is hilarious. But yeah, either way, that is like, what, the fucking 10th lawsuit we've spoke about with Austin Mcbroom? I don't even know now. I've genuinely lost count. But like I said, it seems like Austin Mcbroom has having a lot of financial troubles. Only due to his own actions, by the way. He didn't learn from his first mistakes. He then got sued for the second event as well. Like, why even having a second event in the first place when you haven't paid the people from the first? Like, fucking stupid. But either way, let me know your thoughts down below. To me, this is just Fire Festival 2.0, and like I said, that guy went to jail, so I feel like we're going to see more and more repercussions as time goes on with Austin. And either way, if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like down below, subscribe if you are new. Let me know any topics to talk about in future videos on my Instagram. It's linked in the description. I guess until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.